everyone, this is Sandra at Spirit of Avalon. So I'm here today because I'm going to do a tag. It's a tag that I was tagged into by the lovely Nova at Nova Mundi Tarot, and her tag is called Good Old Decks. So the way she did the tag was to show decks that are older, that you don't really hear of anymore, but that she said were popular at the time. But she said we could do the tag any way we wanted, really. We don't have to do it like that. So what I'm actually going to do is show older decks that you don't kind of hear much about anymore. Not necessarily that people were really excited about, although they may have been, but ones that we don't always hear about, or not so much anymore. So I've got about 10 tarot decks and 4 oracles, I think. So, and I apologise for any noise because I have got the window open as it's quite warm, and there will be traffic noise from outside. So the first one I have is the Fey Tarot. Now this is the kit edition, and I think this one is quite hard to get now, but you can get it in its normal box form. This came in the kit because basically it comes with the book. So you can see the box is quite battered. It comes in this plastic tray, which is also broken, but you know, so it comes with the book, just black and white pictures. But it is a good but old deck. So it does come in the tuck box inside of that big box. So we might need to go in a little bit, move that up a little bit. And I think you can still buy it like this. I've seen them on eBay like this anyway. And this is a really nice little deck that, you know, I don't hear spoken about very much, if at all, actually. And it's by Los Scarabeo, just called the Fey Tarot. And although mine is old, I think this is from 2008 or something like that. It is still in really good condition. I'll just move the box out of the way. So, you know, it just seems a shame with these decks that they're not spoken about more, because this is lovely if you like fairy, fey type decks with dragons and strange looking beings in it that are the Fey. But I love the artwork in this one. I mean, look at this, look, it's got a plant growing from its back. That's Ace of Wands, and as you can see, with it being an older deck, it's kind of off center. This deck is, I don't mind, it doesn't bother me. We have got the multiple languages at the bottom. Again, I'm not worried about that. I mean, look at that. But you can see, look how much gap you've got here compared with here, so it is off center, but it's fine. I don't mind that, you know, so much. It's okay like that. So yeah, it is really nice. These are the backs, which are quite cool. I love the colour. And it's a shame, isn't it, when some of these decks that are really nice just kind of disappear. But I love this. I love the cardstock on this as well. It's like really silky but it's a good cardstock, so it's got a bit of a sheen, but it's really nice, and I love this one. Look, that's almost space agey, isn't it? Dragons in cups, and you know, weird people. But I love the way they've pictured the Fey in this deck. I'll try not to spend too long on any one deck, because otherwise we'll be here forever. But I mean, look at this one. Look at that lovely dragon. So good. I love this. You see, and now I'm looking at this and thinking, oh, I need to work with this again. I need to get it out again. Which is another thing that these type of tags do. You pull out your older decks and you think, oh, I need to work with that now. So, yeah. So I won't show you them all, but that is the Fey Tarot by Lo Scarabeo. As I said, I think it's still available just in the small version. I mean, you may be able to still get the kit version on eBay, but the problem is just the prices of things now. I got this one for a really good price, but it was years ago. It was a long time ago, so I think you can still get it like this. So that is the first deck, guys, which is the Fey Tarot by Lo Scarabeo. So the next deck I have in a bag here, and this, you might recognise this. This is the Steampunk Tarot by Barbara Moore. Well, Barbara Moore was one of the contributors to this deck, and this is, I've had this for years as well. This is the old Llewellyn. It was Llewellyn, the old Llewellyn cardstock, because that's why it's in the bag. And it is the bag that goes with the deck as well, the High Priestess, because it was those old horrible cardboardy boxes that they used to have. So this is the better cardstock, but this one was popular at the time when it came out. Lots of people wanted it, and I loved it. This was one of the first decks that I got when I got back into tarot. It wasn't the first, but it was one of the first that I got. So, I mean, look at this, it's so cool. And it's a really good reader, actually. Really good. And again, I don't see that many people talk about it anymore. I think because I suppose we get so many new decks now that these older ones get forgotten. And as the hashtag said, they might be oldies, but they're goodies. And you know, such a good reader, and it's RWS. It's easy to read if you know the RWS system. I mean, like I said, I had one of the first when I got back into tarot, and I wasn't that good with reading tarot at all, really, then, and I could use this one. So yeah, there's just some decks. I mean, I will go through my collection, and every now and again I will sell decks or gift decks, or you know, just give them away. But there's some that you just can't, or that I just can't, and this is one of those decks where I would never let it go. Plus the fact, I know, yes, you can still get it, but it wouldn't be on this cardstock for a start. And this is like, you know, it's like it's got my energy and things in it, and it's just, like it's my deck, you know. And getting a new one, it wouldn't feel the same. So yeah, so that is the Steampunk Tarot. And what I will do, I will list these decks in the description box below this video, and I will also, obviously, I will put Nova's channel down below if you don't know Nova. I mean, I think most of you probably will, but yeah, definitely go over there and have a look. She's really good videos, really knowledgeable. And also I'll link her original video for this tag, but I will link all the decks that I'm talking about as well. I will list them in any case, so at least you've got the titles. So the next one is an indie deck, and this is the Lost Forest Tarot, and I do remember people being excited about this deck when it first was released. Indie, I'm not sure if it was Kickstarter, it might have been. I got mine second hand, but it's in really good condition, and I think this is the first edition. So this is the Lost Forest Tarot, and again, you know, it's one that I don't hear of very much now, but I do remember the excitement when this came out. And this cardstock, you won't be able to see here, but it's got like a texture to it. It feels lovely, like really nice and buttery, but it's like it's got a texture to it, but it's not linen. And really nice cardstock. These are the backs. And I know there was a second edition, and like I say, I think this is the first. This is my favourite card in the deck. Look at this, so cool. And it's like a fantasy type deck. The artwork is quite dark. Love this, the mystic for the magician. No, the high priestess. It's the 8 of earth. You've got a lot of trees in this, but actually in this deck my favourite suit is the cups. They're very blue if we get to any of those. And you can see the edges of mine. You can see the white. So you can see it, you know, it has been used. And this might be a little bit difficult to see. I mean, look at this one. The Hermit, how cool is that? I'm trying to get to some of the cups. Oh, the Fool is lovely. The King of Fire. Oh yeah, so they're called Oceans, the cup suits. Got the 7 of Oceans, which is like the anglerfish. But a lot of the ocean cards are very blue. Look at this, Queen of Earth, love that. And you just don't hear people talking about this deck anymore. And you know, it is a shame because it's lovely. 3 of Skies, so air. Sword suit is very pink. You can see there's lots of trees in the earth suit. I'm trying to get you to some different ones. I love this Hanged Man. Look at this. So cool for the Hanged Man. Death again. I love it. I love Temperance too. Look at the little mouths. Here's some ocean cards. You see how blue they are? I love it. It's just a really, really nice deck. Might be a little bit more difficult to read for beginners, possibly. I do go off of my intuition as well with decks like this. Love this Knight of Fire. So it's another Ace of Earth. So yeah, that is the Lost Forest Tarot. And again, I mean, these decks, you can pick them up on trade groups and things like that. This one is number 269 of 700. Put that down there. Next, again, there was a big thing about this deck when it first came out, and this was the Encore Tarot by Ciro Marchetti, and this one is different to how, you know how his decks are normally digital imagery, and you can see it's digital art, and this one is a selection of images from various decks produced over the last 15 years, reworked in a linear illustrative style, and that's why I loved it, because the illustrations are different. So that's just the signed card, because this is an indie deck. So you can see, and you've got these red edges, I mean the gilding is coming off, because I've had this quite a while. So and gilding will come off. You can't really be off of that happening, I don't think, really, unless it's that matte type of gilding. That doesn't tend to. So we've got the Magician. I mean, look at that. But can you see what I mean about the illustrative style rather than his normal photographic digital art style? So that's what I loved about this. It's also cool when you do this and you've got all the different colours. But yeah, there was a big thing about this. Everybody wanted this deck, and then of course it's sold out, so everyone was kind of clamouring to get it. And I was lucky because this particular deck was gifted to me. So, and you know, it's one that again I couldn't part with. I mean, none of these decks that I'm going to show here are ones that I could part with, definitely not. Love this too, look at that. I'm hoping this is showing up okay, because for me the light's not very good, even though I've got bright light behind me, but let's just hope. That's why I'm holding them up, so at least you could hopefully get a good view of these. But you don't hear a lot of people talking about it now, this deck, even though everyone wanted it at one point. You don't really hear people talking about it now, and it is different to his other decks. It's still like artwork, like it says from his other decks, but it's been reworked into this more illustration style, which I absolutely loved. I mean, I do like Ciro's decks anyway. I think this is the only one I've got of his now. But I don't dislike them. But this one in particular, I did really like. But it is funny how these decks, you know, everybody sort of clamours for them, and then you don't really see them very much, or you don't see many people using them or talking about them. So that is the Ciro Marchetti Encore Tarot. So just put that back in there. Sometimes it's so awkward to get these things back in the boxes, but I'll sort them out properly later, so it's fine. That's the Encore Tarot. Next deck that is in this bag, and this is the Tildwick Tarot, another one that everyone wanted when it was out of print. And you can see, look at the state of mine, honestly. Look at the edges, the corners, because this is a deck that I love, and fortunately I do have a backup because I've got the anniversary edition one, but the state, honestly, terrible. Still, at least it shows it's used. But yes, this is another one, such good quality though, and this is the second edition that was reissued after the passing of the original creator. But this deck, I use it differently to normal tarot because it's basically rooms in a house, and I do use this for like path working and in an almost storytelling type way. So I use this in my own way, but I do love it, which is why when they came out with the anniversary edition, I got that as well, and I thought, well, that can be a backup for this one. But again, at one time lots of people wanted this, you know, and it was going for silly money on eBay. I think the original probably still does, but yeah, I do really like it. I was so happy when they re-released this. I was like probably one of the first people to be like, oh God, I've got to get it quick before they sell out. So yeah, but you don't hear a lot of people talking about this or using it, or well, not on video anyway. So that is the Tildwick Tarot that lives in this pouch that was made by my friend Giselle over at Mad Witch. So that lives in there, and that is the Tildwick Tarot. Next one is in this bag, and this is a very old deck. This I've had for years. Again, was one of the ones that I got when I came back into tarot. And this is the Gypsy Palace Tarot. It's an indie deck by Nora Hushka, and this is from 2013, first edition. This deck, it's very tatty, as you can see. The box is broken. I try to keep my decks in good condition, but this is a very cardboardy tuck box, and it's just, yeah. But I could never part with this deck because I just love the brightness and the weirdness of it. So, but I never see this talked about, and it is a strange deck. But I just love it, the art style and the bright colours, the amount of red in it. I just love that, and lots of yellows, which I also love. So, you know, it's one I could never part with. It's just a shame it doesn't get I don't know if it's still in print or not, probably not. I think there were other editions of it. Like I said, this is the first edition, but I do love it. I should maybe get it out again, I mean, I have worked with it, obviously, as you can see the state of the box. But it's not the easiest deck. But it's a cool one. And the thing is, I suppose we don't have to work with every single deck we've got, because some, you know, we might have purely, really, just as collector's items, which you can if you want to. It's, you know, it's up to you what you want to do, whether you want to have some that are just collector's items and some you use. You know, for me, that's totally fine. I mean, my Bubba Studios decks I don't use very often. I do use them, but not very often. But I still love them and wouldn't like let them go. So yeah, that is the Gypsy Palace Tarot by Nora Hushka, which I never really see mentioned or anything now, and that came with that bag actually. Right, I better move a bit quicker. Already been 26 minutes. Another one, love this. This is the new Babylonian Tarot, and it was a Kickstarter. It's I've had this a long time as well. It comes with a book, divination manual, just black and white pictures, and the cards come in this annoying two-thinged box. Gonna get cards going all over the place now, aren't we? Yes. Okay, so that's the back of the box. So obviously this is Babylonian, and something, I don't know what it was, again you can see the edges are, particularly the corners of this, are very worn. Look at this. But I do really like it, and just something about this drew me to this deck. I don't know really even now what it is. I love the backs, very Rider-Waite Smith, but it's all from Babylonian times and shows people of that culture. I love it. It's really colourful, lovely thick cardstock, shiny, glossy, but I don't mind. Really nice and colourful. I love it. But I don't think I've ever seen this deck mentioned, ever. I don't think I've ever seen it on YouTube at all. I'm pretty certain I haven't. I mean, maybe other people might have, but I haven't ever seen it. And it's a shame really, because I think it's really nice, lovely imagery, easy to use because it's RWS. And I do use it quite often. I love it. I love this. I love that for Wheel of Fortune. It's one of my favourite Wheels of Fortune. And look at her. I love that. The chair. I'm hoping you're getting a good view of this. And if any of these decks, if any of you want me to do a full walkthrough of any of these, I will do. Just let me know in the comments down below, because I'm only showing you a selection of cards from each, because otherwise we'll be here too long. We've already been here, like, I don't know, 30 minutes or something already. Right, I'm just going to put these back anyway into the box and sort them out later. Okay, so that was the new Babylonian Tarot, illustrated by Roxana Paul and companion book by Victor Paul. Another one we don't see mentioned very often is Tarot of the Old Path, and mine actually comes in this VHS style box, and I found it in Watkins Books years ago like this, wrapped and everything in cellophane in this, and it's good because obviously it comes with the book, whereas normally when you buy Tarot of the Old Path it doesn't, and you have to get the book separately. But it's another one that isn't often spoken about, and it is lovely. You don't hear it talked about very much at all. And I remember Brian Cormac Carr, if any of you know Brian, he always loved this deck. I think this was his favourite deck. I'm not sure if it was his first deck, but I know it was definitely a favourite deck of his. Tarot of the Old Path. You've got these almost medieval type images. And it's just so nice for an older style deck. Nice card stock. And I was just fortunate to get this in Watkins in that VHS case. It was just sitting there on the shelf with the book, because like I say, normally you have to buy the book separate with this, because it just comes in a small tuck box normally. So yeah, so that is Tarot of the Old Path. Really lovely, very nice deck, easy to use and work with, so that's another thing in its favour. Okay, last tarot deck, and this one, I know lots of people hate this deck but it's an older deck. This one, I think it is out of print now actually. When is it from? Let me just quickly see if I can find a date. 2012. So this is a Syrian Starseed Tarot. You don't really see people talking about this, mostly because people just don't like it, because the cards are enormous. It's glossy, very glossy, it's high gloss, but I love it. Just something about this deck, I've always loved it, and every time I get it out, you know how you almost get that excitement, like when you get a new deck you get that excitement, and I kind of get that every time I get this deck out. And yes, the cards do have a bit of a bow in them now, but again, I'm okay with that. But I love it, and you don't hear people talk about it usually, and if they do, they're usually saying, oh god, I hate that deck. But I don't, I just love it, and it works really well for me. Look, Glastonbury, this Glastonbury tour, and again, this is probably why. But I love that we've got crystals as one of the suits. And I love the cards being huge. I don't mind at all. It doesn't bother me. And they're even bigger than normal oracle size. They're just mad, really. Love that Master of Crystals. So, And the photographic style, I suppose people don't like either. But again, I do. With this deck anyway. Not with all, but with this deck I love it. So yeah, so that is the Syrian Starseed Tarot, which again people might think is very woo-woo as well, which could be another reason for not liking it. But I love a bit of woo-woo, definitely. So that is the Syrian Starseed Tarot. So now on to some oracle decks. And the first one I've got is a little one. And this is the Nature Speak Oracle by Ted Andrews, which I don't see people talking about. I think it's out of print. I did get it on eBay very cheaply, so I'm not completely sure. And it's just simple, and it might not be the most lovely pictures and things in the world. It might not be amazing artwork, but I just really like it. The cards are quite thin, but like Forest, Awaken Your Magic. It's just simple garden, time for nurturing. I just love it, that it's got scenes from nature. And I like the little words at the bottom, like growth and abundance, mountain, spiritual quest. And you know, it's a shame really that it doesn't get more. And I've got another deck by Ted Andrews, which is a bird one. And look at this daffodil, it's so lovely. Trust in your power. Dandelions again. So ferns, I love ferns. Iris, that always reminds me of my dad. He always grew irises. This is Maintain Hope, and they were this colour. So this is really a nice little deck to just pull just one card, or you could pull a couple of cards. And they're lovely, I think. I like the photographs on here. You know, the flowers and scenes from nature look nice when you sort of put them out on your altar area or sacred space. I think they're really nice. They look nice there, you know. But it's another older deck, definitely. Sometimes cards just don't want to go in the box, do they? Now this one I'm trying to see, 2006, so that one is quite old. Okay, another one, Healers of the Earth. Now this was an indie deck that lots of people spoke about at the time. Comes with a book. These, because I was gifted this deck, the person that gifted it to me put those in, so I just always keep them in there. And it's got these like matte silver edges, which you don't often see because normally it's matte gold. But this at one time was spoken about a lot. So again, it's Healers of the Earth Oracle. So you get like a number, you get put the spell on you, and several words like charm, seduction, being won over, keywords. But there's also words on the back, spiritual hygiene, for instance, on the back of that one. And this one, frozen in time, hypervigilance and delusion. And it's lovely, this. And I never see anyone really showing it. Like I say, I know it was popular at one time when it was originally released, and I remember people looking for it, trying to get hold of it, and now you don't see it. But again, it's one I would never let go of because I love it. So yeah, really nice. Another older deck, but a good one, definitely. And put it back in its bag, back in its box with its crystal and little goddess figure. They always just keep in there with it now. It's one of those, see, the box has got a bit damaged over time, but yeah, it's a really good one. And then we have the Crystal Skull message cards. This deck I've had for years and years as well. This is from 2007. And I don't see this spoken about. I have seen it still available, like on eBay and places like that. I think it might be out of print, but I have seen it. That's the back. But these are cool. Again, it's one of those decks that I can't, I could never let go of. There's just something about it, I just really like it. And I don't ever see anyone talking about it. Two Worlds. I love this one, Abundance Island. Some of them are landscape, which again people don't always like. I don't mind. Download, look at that. Teleportation. I like this one too, Ancestors. Ascension Earth. 13 Skulls. That's lovely, Air. And this one, Nature. So yeah, so that is some of my older decks anyway, that are, in my opinion, oldies but goodies, and are not, you don't often see them spoken about. So I thought I would join in with the tag, and thank you Nova for tagging me in this. It's a really nice tag to do, really lovely. I really enjoyed, you know, showing the deck, some of the older ones that don't get seen very often, which is a shame. And you know, somebody might see one and think, oh yeah, I really like that, and it might be something they're able to get hold of, because you just never know. Even if things are out of print, you can get them sometimes. You can be lucky and get them on trade groups or eBay or places like that. So yeah, so I hope everyone enjoyed seeing these, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye for now.